to A Shot of Facts. This is your girl Deja Renee, and this episode is a shot of Blink Social with Darcell Edwards. Now, Darcell is the founder and CEO of Blink Social, which is a social networking company with the goal of connecting the world with Black creatives, in which they are currently developing an online marketplace for freelancers and a learning platform that will teach freelancers and creatives marketable skills. So, Darcell, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. So just to get, started with the interview, my first question to you, since the mission of Blink Social is to basically connect the world with Black creatives, right? So my question is, what is your opinion about the current state of Black representation, particularly in media?
Oh well, in media is a tricky place because we've oftentimes seen representation like in front of the camera between actors and actresses. We have our big names, but one thing that lacked was representation behind the camera. Like there wasn't really many Black directors, Black editors, Black personalities in general. And now I feel like over the past like 5 to 10 years, we're really seeing a change with that, especially with people like Issa Rae and how she grew from YouTube to Insecure, and now she has her own like development network. Even somebody like Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry, he grew from doing plays and doing plays into now he has one of the biggest production companies in Atlanta, in the world, that rivals Paramount Studio. So now I feel like the representation is starting to come around because people are finally realizing that, okay, the world is built off of Black culture, so why not have the ones that are Black created? And I feel like people are really starting to realize that, and now we're starting to see Black folks get the representation that they deserve, that they've been deserving for years. So although it's discouraging that it took this long, I'm happy to
Yeah.
see that change.
But the thing is, you mentioned Tyler Perry, and it's like, yes, he did a lot, but also the representation. I'm coming from a person who grew up watching Tyler Perry plays
Right.
and movies, but like thinking back on it now, the stereotypes, the viewpoints of where he pinpoints how Black women are,
Right.
portrayed in media, and Black men too, I kind of don't agree with his message
No.
all the time, but it's good to see somebody actually progressing in media though.
Yeah, and I definitely hear you on that, because I agree with you. Like a lot of his stuff is like stereotypical, but what I like to look at like the hustle and grind behind it. And although a lot of his stuff is like stereotypical and it's negative, the way I look at it is he still opened up a door for somebody else that looks like him to come after him and do the same thing. So if you're able to have that opportunity to create your own production company now I would hope that you wouldn't come out with the same things that Tyler Perry did. I hope you
Right.
come out with stuff that portrays Black folks in a positive light. But at the one thing that I would like just to acknowledge is just like, okay, he did get through the door, because unfortunately at that time that's all a lot of people were looking for, was like Black trauma and Black pain. That's what was selling.
Yeah.
So now, like now that like anybody else that's coming after him, okay, take those things, just like, okay, now we know better, we're going to do better, and we're going to create stories, we're going to create media that has a positive light from it.
And I still think that's an issue that we have yet to tackle fully, just the representation as far as outsiders looking in. Like, I
Right.
know you have your Blink Social is mainly like, think of a way for the listeners like Fiverr or something like that, right? Where
Right.
you hire people, freelancers for a service. But in the broad terms of media, I definitely do feel like we need to work more on representation and tackling those stereotypes. Like, I just
Right.
think, I don't know what's a way we could do that, but because stereotypes sell, and at the end of the day, we all trying to make money. So I
Right.
don't really blame them for
Right.
still perpetuating that.
Right. And I feel that it's I feel like now, like it's all about like now everybody, you don't really have to depend on anybody else to give you an opportunity per se. You can create your own opportunity. Obviously that and I think we're seeing a lot of that now. And I feel like since we are creating our own opportunities, I feel like these bigger companies, they're now looking at that and be like, okay, they are very talented because look at what they're doing on their own. So let me try to grab them. And I was talking about it. Me and one of my friends, we were having a conversation about it as far as like the stereotypes aspect of it. And we were saying like, yeah, we shouldn't be getting hired off of just because we're Black or just because we bring this point of view. We should be getting hired off of our talent. And so us as creatives, us as freelancers, us as in this industry, we also need to understand that we need to make sure our talent is through the roof too. So when we're getting into these new positions, when we're getting into these new jobs, we're coming and we're bringing it, and like people can't say, oh, like, yeah, they just hired me because I'm Black. No, they hired me because I'm the best, like, and I'm gonna be the best. So,
and that's something so backstory on me. For you, because my listeners, I say this almost every episode, but like I'm a geospatial analyst by trade. You know, I work on computers all day, but on my free time, my passion is actually podcasting, talking to people, getting to know people, and just promoting Black excellence and Black businesses, right? But one thing that I always have an issue with is just I feel like I'm kind of torn between, you know, working corporate and being a freelancer, being an entrepreneur. So what would you say for those people who are stuck in between? Like, should I quit my job? Should I, you know, become an entrepreneur full time? What would you say to them?
First you have to take a deep dive at yourself, look at yourself and look at your strengths and your weaknesses, because not everybody is meant to be a freelancer. Not everybody is meant to be an entrepreneur. Because with being a freelancer and an entrepreneur, you're going to have very long nights. You're not going to have any guidance. Like you're going to be making things up on your own. It's going to be a lot of trial and error, and you don't have that structure that a 9-to-5 would typically give you. So you have to take a look at yourself and really look at it and say, hey, do I think I can handle this lifestyle of not knowing what's next, of not knowing if I'm going to get paid from this, or not knowing where this opportunity is going to take me? If you really feel like you can do that, then by all means take that step. But if you're unsure, then maybe the 9-to-5 corporate route may be for you, maybe better for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's just like, if that's what you're comfortable with and you like having a 9-to-5, then then by all means, there's nothing wrong with that. There's been plenty of successful people that has worked for different companies and climbed their way up the ranks, and there's nothing wrong with it. That's one thing that I feel that our culture and like really our generation, everybody's just like, oh, like, let's be an entrepreneur. Everybody needs to be
all that.
Like, nah,
I always, like I said, I struggle back and forth with that too. You know, I have days where I'm at work and I'm like, I'm spending 8 hours here. I could have spent 8 hours progressing my business in my own career. But hey, you know, this entrepreneurship, like you said, it's a long game. It's a long run. You don't make money off the bat. So
exactly.
Don't just quit your job, because my job is helping me, you know, stay under this roof right now.
Exactly. And I feel like before you make any decision to jump into entrepreneurship, have a plan. Like, even if you're not 100% sure that this plan is going to work out, at least have a plan. Like, I feel like sometimes people jump into situations without having a plan, and that's like, nah, like, you got to write it down, really think it out from point A to point Z, and even account for the hiccups that you may encounter. Like, if you're working a job and you're thinking about quitting your job, try to have some money saved up for the rainy days that you may experience as an entrepreneur. So really develop that plan and have that plan of what you're going to do.
Definitely. Now, speaking of, entrepreneurship versus working corporate or 9 to 5,
Mhm.
as a HBCU alumnus, I went to Tuskegee too. You went to
Okay.
Howard, yeah. So, how do you feel that the institutional school centered around freelancing? Like, do you feel that it helped people become entrepreneurs, or do you feel like going to college really aided or helped people just become employees at a business or a 9 to 5?
Um, it's two sides of it, and I feel like it's what you make it. I guess in college, because traditionally, I feel like when you go into, I was in the school of business, so when I was at Howard, I feel like at Howard in the school of business, I feel like they taught you how to work for somebody else and go work in the corporate world. And I really feel like that's what they trained you to do. But on the flip side, in regular Howard life, I feel like that life taught you how to be an entrepreneur, because if you had a skill, if you were a graphic designer, there was always somebody looking for, hey, can you make this flyer for the party? Or, hey, can you make this for the pageant? So you was able to kind of do like freelancing work on the side just amongst your peers. And it's going back to like individual self. Like if you were able to look at what avenues you want to take advantage of and look at what avenues you want to take, I feel like they're both there when you go to these institutions. It's just about you personally and what you decide to do, because I know a lot of people who started their companies and stuff based off of what they were doing in college and based off their little side hustles and side gigs that they were doing. So I really feel like both opportunities is there. It's just like whether or not you're looking for them or not.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like college is what you make it.
Right.
But I will say, if you know for sure that you want to work in something or entrepreneurship that it
Right.
doesn't require a degree, like
It doesn't.
don't go to college. Don't waste your money. Like especially if you don't have a scholarship or anything. Like don't get me started on student loans. Like
Yeah, no. Nah,
like I
and
have
I
so many student loans. Like I have a bachelor's and master's in environmental science, and I really don't work in my field. Like I make a good amount of money, my 9 to 5, but it's not environmental science. And I'm doing podcasting, journalism, things of that sort. So I'm
right.
like, if I really knew what I wanted to do, like I have 60K in student loans. So if I would have knew, I might have would have saved a lot of money in the meantime.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with you on that aspect, because you go to college and you rack up all these student loans, like, and you really don't have, and oftentimes when you graduate, you don't have the jobs that's going to pay off these student loans. It's not like how they used to be in the 70s and 80s where you getting $5,000 and you can pay that off in two years. It's completely changed. So I definitely agree with you on that, because as far as college, like, yeah, I picked up things here and there, but the biggest thing that I picked up was the network.
Yeah, definitely.
And I honestly don't know if I would have been able to get that same network anywhere else. But like that's really is the most valuable thing. Not any subject that I learned, not any class. It was really just the networking and being around people. So if you can finesse and get your way into one of these schools and you don't have your own scholarship, or you get a whole bunch of grants or apply for scholarships and you get a whole bunch of those, like by all means take the
Yes.
opportunity to do it. But
Go to
like,
school for free,
yeah,
please.
go to school for free. But if you taking out a whole bunch of loans, really evaluate it. Really evaluate it, because you don't want to be out of school and be like, man, I gotta pay back 100,000. Like
You
what?
don't want to
Like
be like
no.
me.
Mm.
No, like I was blessed. So I went to grad school because I didn't have anything lined up after undergrad. So
Uh-huh.
I was like blessed to have a job opportunity after I graduated grad school. But yeah, it was real.
Would you do it? Would you do it the same all over again?
Nah. I definitely would have tried. I feel like in high school, I feel like I tried hard to get scholarships, but I
Yeah.
guess not enough.
Yeah, nah.
Like,
Yeah, you really got to hustle to get scholarships. And I mean, like it starts with just like applying to everything. Like once you see an opportunity, apply for it. And like a lot of people say, oh, applying for scholarships takes a lot of time. I'm telling anybody that's listening, all you have to do is create a running Google Doc. If you do five applications, take those answers from one application, put it in the Google Doc, and then so that way in the future when you're applying for these other scholarships, you'll always have similar answers. So you're not, oh, I got to come up with a new answer every time. Like, no, make it easy for yourself. So then it's just drag and drop and then apply to everything. There's money out here to get, just apply for it.
Yeah, I wish I knew that. My thing was I wanted to go to Tuskegee so bad. I want to, because I'm from Detroit, so I wanted to like get out of Detroit. I wanted to go down south. Yeah, don't follow my footsteps, y'all.
What was that transition from going to Detroit to Alabama?
Oh, it was a huge culture shock. Like, have you been to Tuskegee before?
I haven't. I've been to Atlanta. I've been to some parts of Alabama, but I haven't been to Tuskegee's campus yet.
Tuskegee is rural. If I could explain it in one word, very rural. I was, college of agriculture, so it kind of fit, my college and my major. But yeah, we were in the country. It was country.
That's probably why I haven't been down there yet. Because I heard, don't you have to fly into Atlanta and like drive to Tuskegee like 2 hours?
So you can go to Atlanta Airport, which is like the biggest one, or it's an airport at like Montgomery, Alabama, but that's like small and like the tickets are like super expensive. And I think it's another one in Birmingham, which is like the same distance from Atlanta. So most people just go to Atlanta. It's like an hour and a half away. Yeah.
Well, we love the HBCUs though. We love
homecoming's lit. I met so much great, people, lifelong friendships, networking. Like I don't regret that. I just regret my financial
decisions. Yeah. I totally understand that. I definitely get that.
Definitely. Like I love my HBCU. Don't get me wrong, okay? Gotcha. But going back into talking about creatives, right? So, what is a way that you think that Black creatives can get more exposure?
Collaborating. Collaboration is the key. Everybody feels like they're talented, and so one thing that I've been seeing a lot of lately is people like, oh, I'm not getting a lot of exposure. I'm not getting a lot of acknowledgement on these great things. And yes, you may be talented, you may be great, but you got to look and see, are you taking the steps to put yourself out there? And I mean, doing things like this, hopping on podcasts, reaching out to people who have podcasts, saying, hey, can I join your podcast and jump on it? Can I share my work? Going to in-person events. A lot of people think that, oh, I need to get exposure through just social media alone. No, go to in-person events. Like if you join any, like if you can go on Eventbrite and you can look up, like let's say you a photographer, you can look up photography, you can see all the events that they're having in your area. Go to these events, network, put yourself out there. Don't just rely on social media. Don't just rely on, hey, I'm gonna post something and get my name out there. No, like you gotta really put in the work and really like try to collaborate with people. And don't be afraid, like if you know somebody who's like bigger than you and they may have an opportunity, reach out to that person and say, hey, can I work on a project with you for free? And although like everybody's like, oh, I want to get money, I want to make sure I get paid, sometimes you got to do stuff for free for the advancement of your like career in your past, because you might experience. Yeah, because you might do that one thing for free and that might lead into several other paid opportunities. So as long as you're grinding and collaborating and putting yourself out there, I feel like those are the best ways to get the exposure. Just please do not rely on just social media, because that's not going to get you far.
And that's always something, even for myself, that I struggle with, trying to get the Instagram followers, trying to get, viral and all of that, and beat the algorithms. Like sometimes for creatives that really bogs down just their passion, just trying to figure out, how do I get known? How do I get a lot of followers? Like, and then you start seeing, your follower rate or people like unfollowing you and like things of that sort. Like it's really, what's the word I'm trying to find? Like people shouldn't really rely on social media. Like I know it makes a huge difference. But
Right.
one thing I also learned is that people on Instagram specifically buy followers.
Right.
So it's all like I keep telling people, Instagram specifically and Facebook, like that's a facade. Like
Right.
people buy followers, people act like they're known, but they're really not. And you'll be surprised how many people actually buying followers.
Yeah, people like a lot of it. Like people who have 100,000, 200,000 followers, but still sleeping on a mattress on the floor, and like that's like it doesn't mean anything. Like yeah, it's a huge facade with these social media and like these social media numbers. Don't get me wrong, like it's definitely social media is definitely powerful in a lot of ways. You
Man, it's
can
helpful.
you can meet a lot of people, you can connect with a lot of people. So yeah, but don't think of social media as the end all be all. And like the biggest thing with social media that I tell everybody, like you have to be consistent. You have to be consistent on it, like posting 2-3 times a day.
That
And
is so hard.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah, no, I definitely know. Like we at Blink Social, we've taken like 2 months off just because we've been gathering a huge like content calendar and creating this content ahead of time and putting in the right pieces and like systems, so when we're posting we can actually like post and really not have to think about it. And I feel like sometimes that's what people need to do as well, is really take out the time to flesh out your content, really take out some time and plan ahead for like 2 months, 2-3 months ahead. It may take a couple weeks for you to plan that content, but you'll be thankful for it in the long run.
Yeah, that is something that I'm still constantly struggling with. Like, if you go on my Instagram, it'll be times where I'm posting every day, and then like one day I just don't feel like posting, and then next thing you know, it's 3 weeks and I ain't post nothing. I'm like, oh my god, like I need to get it together. Like it is so hard to keep up with that. Like,
Right,
and you learn so much valuable skills with being an entrepreneur, being a freelancer. Like you learn marketing, you learn how to advertise, you learn business overall, even if you weren't a
everything.
business major. Like running this, being a freelance designer or podcaster or anything, like it's a business and you have to treat it as such. Because
Right.
when you treat it as such, then in the long run, it starts, your benefit starts to come in.
Right. And one thing to add to that I completely agree with is like you're learning all these different skills. So the way I like to tell it, like everybody's just like, oh, I just got a master's degree from here. I just got a master's degree from Howard. I got a master's degree from USC, UCLA. I'll be like, shoot, I got a master's degree in entrepreneurship because
YouTube
all
University.
YouTube University. I mean, like I'm just constantly learning. Just checking out different people's podcasts, checking out people's websites and stuff that are similar to what I'm trying to build. Going to different virtual events, going to different in-person events, just constantly learning. Like people think, oh, like if I'm become an entrepreneurship, if I go jump into entrepreneurship and become an entrepreneur, I don't have to go to school. No, like you still have to learn, and it's
Right.
almost harder because you have to self-teach everything. You have to really you have to force yourself to go to these events. Like nobody's making you go to these events. Nobody's forcing you to listen to these podcasts.
Right.
Like you have to really want to learn new things so you can grow and evolve. Because if you're just sitting here like, oh, I have this idea, and I think it's great. Like, yeah, the idea might be great, but you might be missing other pieces that you have to go out there and learn to get. So it's really like you really just have to grind with it. Like just going back to entrepreneurship is a grind, and you have to really learn and put yourself out there and get into uncomfortable situations for it.
Yeah, and one thing I also want to say too, you can't be afraid to invest in your own business, in
Right.
yourself as a brand. Like at first, I didn't want to buy nothing too expensive. I didn't want to buy this mic. I'm like, oh, this is too much. But I'm like, at the
Right.
end of the day, like eventually you're gonna have to start investing in your business
Right.
for it to grow. Like you can't be afraid that, hey, I want to learn how to do something. Maybe you gotta take that class, that 10-week online class. Like sometimes you gotta do that. And you can't be afraid to spend money to make money, especially in this
Exactly.
entrepreneurship game.
Exactly. And the way I look at it is, even if you spend money on something and you may not get a lot of value of it, out of it, you're going to learn something. You're going to get a piece of information. So even if you get just enough information to say, hey, I'm never going to take this type of class again, like, you're at least getting that. So money comes and goes. So I'm with you 100%. You have to invest in yourself, because at the end of the day, like, that's what the best of the best do. You look at athletes, like I look at LeBron James. LeBron James is one of the greatest athletes of all time in any sport. LeBron James, he invests over hundreds of millions of dollars each year into his body, so he can go out there and perform and be the best of the best. So with anything that you do, you have to invest money and just like, okay, it's gonna come back. I'm going to learn it. I'm going to get an experience out of it. So it's going to be cool. And as long as you budget it out accordingly, you'll be fine. And then also, like, going back to like applying to things, like there's so many like business accelerators, different programs that you can apply to. And a lot of times they'll give you stuff for free. Like if you do different pitch competitions, you'll get this stuff for free. Like when we were first starting off, I randomly signed up for a pitch competition. Didn't know what the heck I was talking about. Wasn't really sure. And at the end of it, like we got access to this course that's worth $4,000. And in that course, we got access to this platform called Bubble, which is a no-code platform. So all of these things was off of just taking a chance and just say, hey, I'm gonna jump out into this opportunity and just put myself out there. And you never know what you may get out of that. So like you might just get things for free, just stumbling upon things.
Yeah, and that's one thing. Oh my goodness, like, because I am naturally introverted, so really, I started this podcast to put me in an uncomfortable position, put myself out there, and I enjoy talking to people now.
Right.
And it was so hard for me, like pre-COVID, going out to marketplaces and like meeting people and talking to them and getting my like name out there for the podcast. But now it's like, you know, you want me to go there? Okay, I'm gonna go talk to some people. Like a lot of people, you know, introverts, like you have to get out of that shyness.
Yeah.
Like, you have to put yourself out there. And that was something I struggled with.
Yeah, no, I deal with it too, because I'm a very, like, I like to consider myself an introvert, extrovert. Like I'm like a mixture of the two, like, because a lot of times I like to be locked in my room, leave me alone. I don't feel like talking to anybody. Don't call me, don't text me, no nothing. But other times, like, I'll really be feeling like, okay, I want to be out here. I want to socialize. I want to have fun. But when it comes to business, like, there's no such thing as an entrepreneur that is introverted. Like you have to put yourself out there.
Be afraid to talk to people.
Yeah, and like the worst thing somebody can say is no. Like, and then okay, then you haven't lost anything. You just in the same position you were if somebody says no. So you really just have to like be fearless. Like if you want to ask a question, if you want somebody to come on your podcast, if you want to feature somebody, you want to work with somebody, just ask. Like it doesn't hurt to ask, and you never know what the result.
People DMs, like, right? That's like how I got the interview with you. I said, let me hit you up.
Right, like, and then like here we are now having a great conversation. Right. Like, people get so caught up in like, oh, what if somebody says no, or what if they turn me down? Then okay, like they turn you down, like so what? Like, but chances are more times I didn't have more people say yes than no, like just straight up. And if people are saying no, they have a valid excuse of saying no. And sometimes it's just like, that's what if somebody says no, then it's just like, okay, it wasn't in the cards. That's not what God wanted for me at this point right now. So just got to keep it moving, keep going, and just don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
So what would you say is a strength for entrepreneurs other than, you know, talking to people, being extroverted?
The biggest, I have a couple. I'm trying to see what the biggest one. The first,
you can name a couple of them.
Okay. The one that's most important is your mental, like, and especially like your mental health, because entrepreneurship sometimes is lonely, sometimes it's challenging. So, and like there'll be times where you start to doubt yourself and say, hey, am I making the right decision? Am I doing the right thing? And if your mental's not right, you're not going to be able to get through that. So really, like, and that goes back to like investing into yourself, like go to therapy. And just like, cause you can talk to your therapist about your business struggles and you might feel better after it. Just like, oh, I was able to talk to somebody other than my laptop about what I'm going through.
Right.
So I say that's one of the major things is having your mental right. Next, I would say organization. You have to be organized. Look at tools like Asana, Trello. These are all like project management tools where you can assign tasks and like you can write down your tasks and put due dates on them. I feel like that's a big thing, and then having a team around you. You can't do it alone. Like you have to have a team around you that will be willing to help, that will be willing to assist you grow, because you'll burn out quick as an entrepreneur. So I feel like those are my top three things. Can't think of anything else right now, but if you had those, I think you'll be good.
Yeah, and especially having a team of people, because I'm still trying to find a full team. And it's so many times where I took a hiatus from podcasting and just, didn't post anything for like, I think the longest I went without posting is probably like a month or two. And I felt so bad doing it, but I'm like, I'm doing all of this by myself. I'm recording, I'm recruiting people, I'm editing, I'm marketing. Like,
Right.
I am trying to find some help, y'all. Look, I'm trying to find some help. So having a team is so important, and also like you could tell when people have a team because like their just overall look is more elevated when you have people working on specific like aspects of your company.
Right, and even I would say like getting a team is definitely challenging. Like we're year 2 with Blink Social, and I only have 4 members on my team right now, and we done went through, I'd say around like 6 people already. And it's just because when you're starting off, like you really don't have a lot of money to pay people. Yeah. So a lot of times people are doing things because they believe in the vision. They understand where you're coming from. So so with that, like people are not going to be as committed as you are, and you as an entrepreneur. And one thing is you can't take that personally. You cannot. So first you have to really look at the things and say, okay, prioritize. That's the biggest thing. Like, okay, what do I really need right now? What can I do on my own? What can I really manage? And what's most important? And then once you do that, then you're gonna be like, okay, like I can handle this for the most part. And once you feel like you're handling that one thing, that one task, that one project, then that's when you start reaching out for help. But I feel like a lot of times, especially with starting off, and I'm definitely guilty of it, I had these grand visions of wanting to do something so big, so grand, and oftentimes I couldn't do it by myself. I got burnt out real quick. So sometimes you just have to scale back and just say, okay, I'm gonna prioritize this project first, and then I'm gonna see what my team can do, and what my team can give to this project, and we're gonna get it done. And that's the biggest thing too, is setting expectations beforehand when you're having a team, seeing how much time people can really give.
Yeah.
Because people work full-time jobs, people go to school. So you have to ask them like, hey, like how much time can you really give? Like be 100%. Like don't lie to me and say, oh, you can give me 45 hours a week when you can only give me 10. Like It's just like setting those expectations clear from the beginning. I feel like that's a huge thing. And then like not being afraid to build slow. Like, because entrepreneurship it's a slow grind. So how you said you took those months off of social media, a lot of people feel bad for taking those months off. But no, like don't feel bad. Like you getting your stuff in order. It doesn't have to be right immediately. Like take time with it. Like I'm from LA, so I'm a big fan of Nipsey. So like it's a marathon, so everything is not going to happen overnight. Really just take your time, really plan things out, really just, it's okay. You're going to hit hiccups around the road, And just as long as you're like coming back at the end of the day, say, okay, I'm getting better, or I tried to do this better, and we're gonna get better. That's all that's all that matters. I'm sorry, I like to ramble.
No. Keep going. Honestly, I think that's the hardest thing to realize, though, is that it's a marathon. Like, I know for me, I'm like, I just want to be like successful already.
Right.
Like, I want to be successful. I'm working hard, and like, I just feel like it's not coming quick enough. And I need to learn how to be patient. Like, entrepreneurship is definitely teaching me how to be patient for
Right.
sure. Because I'm just thinking like, oh, okay, I have my goals, and now I'm realizing that I had huge, grandiose like goals that
Right.
were way out of the realm of where I even started at. So now I'm like, okay, I need to scale back. Maybe, in a couple months, expect this, expect
Right.
that. Like, I was just saying that in my last episode, like, we were talking about podcasting specifically, and I told my guests, I'm like, at one point I was kind of mad that I wasn't really able to monetize in the way I want to as a podcaster. But I'm like, at the end of the day, I only been doing this for a year and a couple months now. And I am just surprised that I kept this up for a whole year. That's first and foremost. And also just realizing that, podcasting is definitely a long run type of industry.
Right.
Like, most of your famous podcasters, they've been doing it for like 10 years. So I had to realize that it's a long run. It's a long game.
Yeah.
It sucks to realize that, but I had to.
Yeah. And just and like you said, if you look at back 12 months ago, where you like started, and looking at your past work and look at the progress, like, you'll be surprised at that, and just be happy about that. Be happy about that progress, and be like that you're going in the right in the right direction. Because I feel like everybody gets so bogged down about not getting the results, and it's just like, okay, like, yeah, like, things could have went better, things could have happened, but they didn't. So like, instead of dwelling on those things, like, just like, okay, I did make progress. Now let's keep it going. Now, how can I get better? How can I do better this year than I did last year?
Exactly. I'm trying. But now let's talk about Blink Social now. So, can you explain to the listeners, what is Blink Social and what do you guys offer?
So, okay, Blink Social. First, I want to get into the name. So, I'm really happy about the name, because I was just, in 2018, I was fresh out of college, kind of deciding what I wanted to do next. And so the name that came in my head was Blink Opportunities. So the B in Blink stands for Black people, or Blacks linking. So link, and then we first named it Opportunities, because I wanted to create opportunities for people. But then we realized that we're going to be doing a lot of social events, and like, it's going to be a community. So that's how we changed it to social.
It's definitely more catchy.
Yeah. I definitely, once I heard Blink Social, I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, we doing this. Yeah. So with Blink Social, our main thing is we create opportunity. So this fall we'll be releasing Blink Social Marketplace, and that will be a marketplace similar to Fiverr, Upwork, where you'll be able to find Black freelancers that offer different services. So if you need somebody, if you need a Black graphic designer, if you need a Black social media marketer, if you need a Black copywriter, you'll be able to find them on the marketplace. Another aspect of Blink Social that we're working on is Blink Social University. And we're putting together a curriculum where you'll be able to take different courses. So if you want to learn video editing, you'll be able to come learn them through Blink Social. There'll all be courses taught by Black professionals. So if you come on here, you'll be able to take this course at your own pace. Once you finish, then you'll be able to become a freelancer on the Blink Social Marketplace. And
would that be like subscription based?
So
you have to be a member to access the courses.
So we're offering two methods. If you want to just take one course, one individual course, you'll pay the flat rate for that one course. And if you want to access all the courses, you'll pay a monthly subscription fee. So we kind of tailoring it to both both crowds, because some people may want to just learn one thing, or they just want to try one thing out. So we're kind of tailoring it to both ways. And then we have a video series that we're about to start rolling back out, called In My Zone. It's an interview series where we interview different freelancers and creators, basically catching up about their experiences, highlighting them, because oftentimes, like, we don't really get to see the ones who are really behind the scenes creating these things. Like, we see the big names, and
Right.
we need to see the people who are creating these things behind the scenes, who have a lot of fresh ideas. Their voices need to be heard too. So we have that, and we live stream that on Twitch. So if you wanna check that out, you can just stay tuned with our Instagram. We'll be coming out with some more episodes this month in May.
Cool. So, how is Twitch for you guys? Because I'm interested in like going on Twitch.
Twitch. I feel like Twitch is the wave. Twitch is the new wave, and that's why we kind of started on it, because for those who don't know, Twitch started off as a video gaming platform. So people would stream them playing video games all the time. But now it's turning into something that's completely different. It's almost like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's so complex. But basically, you can live stream anything that you're doing on Twitch, and they have different like channels. So one that we use is called Just Chatting, and on the Just Chatting channel, you can discover a whole bunch of different like podcasts and like interviews of people just talking, and you can monetize your Twitch too. So it's another way to get money off of what you're doing. You can have a live audience where people can chat, and the best thing about it is all free. Like, you just have to go and like be consistent with it. So I really rock with Twitch, because I just feel like it's going to be the new wave of the future. It's already a new wave of the future, but it started off with video gaming, and now I feel like it's opening up to a lot of different things. Like, I have one of my friends, his name is DJ Jordan Jetson. He goes on there every week, and he does DJ sets on there. And especially like in quarantine, that was like that was the thing. That was the thing. So like, everybody, like, he'd just be on there, and he's mixing and everything, going crazy, and then everybody's in the comments talking about, oh, that's the dope transition, or oh, like, this is my jam and everything. So Twitch is really what you make it. You can do anything. You want to have a cooking class, you can go on Twitch. You want to ride bikes, you can go on Twitch. You can do anything on Twitch.
Interesting. I'm about to check that out. But going back into Blink Social, because I was wondering about Twitch. But one question I do want to ask you about Blink Social is, what do you see in the future for it?
We're gonna be we're gonna be at the top. I mean, the ultimate goal is just like, we're going to be this go-to spot for Black creatives. We're going to be the home of Black creatives, where you can come, where you'll be able to find creatives that you need for your business. You'll be able to become a creative or a freelancer, and earn income from your skill. And ultimately, like, we're going to be giving back to the community. That's what it's all about. Like, I'm so tired of us not having these spaces for us. And like, you go to any hood, there's so many Black kids that are there that are talented, but they don't have the opportunity. So we're there to provide these opportunities for them. And so we're just going to be that one-stop shop. Like, if you're a Black creative, if you want to learn a new skill, if you need somebody to grow your business, you'll be able to find us. And we're easily going to take it worldwide to where we are rivaling the Fivers and the Upworks of the world, because there's Black folks everywhere. So we're gonna take it to them. It's gonna take a little time, but I have no doubt in my mind that that's where we're gonna be in the future.
Yeah. Now, also seen on your website, I think it's in your mission, that you wanted to work in the future with particularly the courses, work with other HBCUs and MSIs. So
Right.
is that in the future for you guys too as well? Like, how would you
Oh
set
yeah.
that up?
Oh yeah, so we definitely I don't want to tell too much because everybody gonna be trying to
Oh, okay.
get
Sorry,
in on
sorry.
the secrets. Go get in on the secrets now.
Sorry. I was doing my research.
Nah. But definitely in the next once we have Blink Social University, we'll be partnering with different HBCUs, Black student unions, and different organizations. And we'll be going in and we'll be able to offer these courses to these college students while they're still in undergrad. Because like how we spoke earlier, like how there's not really like a traditional path or traditional classes for these individuals to take. We're going to disrupt that by partnering with different HBCUs and coming in and putting our curriculum in and partnering with these organizations, so that once you're in college and you're trying to figure out what to do, you can come take a Blink Social course and then we'll be giving you that opportunity as well. So that'll be coming in the near future.
Yeah, one thing I do want to say, going back to HBCUs particularly, I feel like they are really traditional in a sense of career fields.
Right.
Like, I don't think Tuskegee has a journalism or graphic designing, anything like
Right.
that, like heavily STEM or business oriented.
Right.
So I feel like this would be a great opportunities for HBCUs to, widen, their career options at the institutions.
Right. And I feel like the biggest thing with that is lack of funding. A lot of these
True.
HBCUs don't have the funding to have these departments, to have these programs because they cost a lot. So if we can come through and make that easier for these HBCUs, then it'll be a no brainer. So that's because we definitely wanted to provide it because, and that's one big thing. Although I went to Howard, like there's a lot of HBCUs. All HBCUs provide like the same type of value. So if I can go into these other HBCUs and help them bring that value up, then it'll be a no-brainer because all Black kids will be wanting to go to HBCUs no matter where in the country. So it's just a matter of being intentional and like having that, like wanting to give back to HBCUs and not just wanting to give back to Howard. I love Howard, don't get me wrong, but like it's just like not everybody.
You said it. I didn't say it. You said it.
No, like I
They
love
act like Howard and Spelman and Morehouse the only HBCUs.
right,
Like, come on
right,
now.
and it's just and that's like it's great that Spelman and Morehouse get the recognition that they deserve, but there's also 120 other HBCUs that people could go to rather than going to a University of North Carolina, and where the student population of Black kids is less than 5%, and you're having to join these different like student unions where it's only 5 of y'all. Like it's just like nah. Like if we can get HBCUs to a level where they all having like the same type of curriculum and providing the same opportunities, then I feel like it's gonna be booming. And I feel like it's getting there. I feel like more HBCUs are getting the recognition now, especially in the athletic lane. Now we just need to get it in the academic and creative lane as well. And I feel like it's coming with time. So just got to keep plugging and keep being intentional about it.
Definitely. But now I want to go into my last call segment. And so this segment is where I give you, my guest, the opportunity to give last parting words or encouragement or recommendations for the listeners pertaining, I guess, Blink Social or just anything that we talked about with this episode.
Okay. One thing that I want to hit on for the last call segment is really about how we were talking earlier about like stepping into entrepreneurship or just stepping into something new in general. My advice, my words would be: don't be afraid to do that, and don't let other people put their expectations on you. Like if they have an idea how you should do something, or they feel like you should go to law school or you should go to medical school, and you really don't want to, don't do it. Because at the end of the day, you want to live for yourself, because at the end when you die, you're the only one going in that casket. You're going in that casket by yourself. So don't live for other people. If you really want to do something, take that chance, take that leap of faith. And especially while you're young, or even if you're older, like it's just like we got time, so just take that chance. Like don't live with the sense of regret, like in like till you get older and you like, man, I wish I would have took that chance, or I wish I would have took that opportunity. Don't wait until it's too late. Do it right now. Just jump into it. Like I said, build out a plan and then jump into it. So that would be my last parting words, my last parting gifts, for real.
Thank you so much for, those last words of encouragement, and also just coming on a shot of facts to talk about Blink Social and entrepreneurship and just being a creative.
Thank
Now,
you. Thank you for
where,
having me.
yeah, no problem. But where can we find you to keep up with Blink Social and you yourself?
Okay, so our website is www.theBlinkSocial. Our Instagram is @BlinkSocial. Twitter is @TheBlinkSocial. Twitch @TheBlinkSocial. But if you just follow one of them, you'll see everything on there. Like I said, stay tuned. We got Blink Social University coming this summer. And we got the marketplace coming this fall. So feel free to be part of anything. You want to chop it up, just feel free. Reach out.
Yeah, and I will make sure to add all of Darcell's and the Blink Socials information in the show notes and on my website as well too, in my blog post that I'm working on. But overall, I want to thank you so much for coming on A Shot of Facts. Again, guys, if you want to listen more and also support A Shot of Facts and Blink Social, please make sure to like, rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend about Blink Social and A Shot of Facts. And I will see you guys later. Peace.